idea how you got there.
I have a question. Well, does anyone else have a question?
Go for it, go for it.
Yeah.
I think I was most moved by really tiny things that became exaggerated. So, you know, the costumes are obvious and the vocalization and the movement. But you're, and I don't know how aware you are of this or how much work you did on it, but your breathing and ways that you know, work together, that was like this whole underlying thing. And also, you were always alive on the stage, and there's another one like that. And I don't know how aware you are of doing that, or if that's something you work on. But I think it's what you were saying brought that up, that it was another level.
Well, in that way, I think it is still like acting, because on stage you're supposed to, you know, listen, listen and actually respond. Who knows, you like do things when you aren't speaking also. So I think that's something that's huge in this.
Yeah, and I think, especially for me too, sitting there and really all I'm doing is listening, you know, and trying to stay in it. And I think how I did that was finding things, parallels with characters. So breathing with them. When I raised the key, I would raise it at the same time as someone's raising their sword. Things like that, just to make it seem seamless. You know.
And all of that was highly stylized. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't somebody breathing on stage or somebody, you know, like breathing.
Good question.
Well, I was going to say that I got so caught up that you're all Japanese, then you all came out. You did a wonderful job of really making us feel that you were all Japanese. Here you are all from the Midwest.
Isn't that wonderful? Theater arts. Magic.
Mr. Sherman, some of us got to see you as a fellow a few years back.
Hey.
One obvious question, how did having done that influence what you do here? And two, if you could have been on the stage here, who would you have been?
Oh, dear.
Who would I have been?
Yeah.
Xie Yu-Yun, the key player.
Seriously, for sure, the witches. Those are the best. Off to the side.
Excellent, yeah. Well, to describe the process, honestly, from the very, very first day that I got to start working with Shozo on Othello's Passion, Kabuki play, back in ISU, it was a very interesting process just because, like you guys, I had no idea what I was getting into. And then we started to go up and down, and then went through the whole thingamajig. And soon enough, I found myself very interested in that. I was previously interested in Chinese theater, and I had already applied to the UH program, University of Hawaii at Manoa. And then I decided, well, Kabuki is actually worth my time as well. So I extended my third year into a fourth year and then did the Kabuki over there. So then having those two experiences under my belt, one that was a traditional as possible play called The Vengeful Sword in English, and then Kabuki Othello with Sato Sensei having done it as an adaptation, it was very interesting simply because there's a lot of freedom and there's a lot of restriction that you have to pay attention to and just accept it. To kind of go back to what has been tossed around a little bit, the idea of not just breathing because you're told to breathe, but you're actually living it. The idea that acting is acting. To expand on that idea, the fact is, whether it's in Balinese dance, shadow puppetry, Chinese theater, Beijing opera called Jingju, or even in no theater, which is almost opposite Kabuki in an extent, is the fact that if you are connected and if you are motivated and if you're keeping this idea of tension on stage, it does work. I mean, even in America, there are people who either hate musicals or love them, or love straight plays or hate them. No, that's the style. No matter what, if you have the freedom of mind to accept a new form, yes, if you can carry tension, that's what makes a production.
I think among the actors, the witches are unique character in this play.
was that our Kabuki soy sauce was simply add Kabuki soy sauce here, whereas for Lady M, he would, Sato-sensei would say, breathe here and open your eyes. It was more up to us to try things, and it was so foreign. There was so much freedom just to try, and there really wasn't even a concept of failure in these rehearsals because we didn't have a concept of right, you know? So that was incredibly freeing, especially for my personal acting process. And then what you were saying about the way everyone works together, the three of us have been joined at the hip for months now, and I'm a senior, so I've been 4 years in this program being told to listen to my partner on stage, but I've never been able to listen like I have with Michelle and Joe in this production.
I was the other witch. I remember, in terms of the way that our soy sauce was handed to us, that there was one specific note I remember where I asked Sensei, should I play it like a man or a woman? He said, well, do it like a woman and a man. I don't know how you do it. So, you know, it was fun experimenting with those kinds of ideas. And he also told us to try and embody a certain animal. And, you know, I chose a spider. You know, everyone had their own, but like experimenting with that stuff was really fun too.
And all the makeup for the three witches came up by themselves.
No?
And I was the nine. As a witch, what kind of creature you want to be? And so they come up with their own idea, and then so the personalities of the creatures, they use with hands and such, they're all by themselves. Then sometimes I pour little soy sauce.
This will be our last question.
The lighting was spectacular.
Lighting was wonderful, isn't it?
And that scene where the three witches, where the